Welcome to A Well-Designed Business with your host, LuAnn. LuAnn has a lifetime of experience building a multi-million-dollar business with her husband and cousin, and she knows the challenges you face in your interior design business. LuAnn brings you real-life answers to your most pressing problems, as well as practical strategies to explode your interior design business. So, let's get to the business of interior design.
Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of A Well-Designed Business. It's Power Talk Friday, and I have Tabitha Carro with me. Tabitha is Smartphone Marketing School. She is the leader of Smartphone Marketing School. Hi Tabitha, how are you?
Hi, LuAnn. I'm doing well and glad to be on your show.
I am too. So this is like, first I'm going to tell everybody a little bit about your background and your bio here, but I'm very excited about this show because I struggle with a lot of these things with the smartphone and trying to be productive. But let me tell everybody why I'm so happy to welcome you to the show. Your background is as a certified elementary school teacher, and you were the owner of a curriculum design business. And from that, you developed this other business, which is called Smartphone Marketing School. And what I love is that it came from a need that you were experiencing. You wanted to do things quickly, easily from your iPhone and, take the bull by the horns, lady. And you taught yourself all these design techniques, with the iPhone. And now what you do is you have tons of content and videos and tutorials on teaching the people in your community, your Facebook community and your membership communities, how to and what apps to use on their iPhone to make their social media marketing easier. And so, that's talking my language because this stuff takes so much time to do. And I'm like 90 thumbs. I can't tell you, Tabitha, how many times somebody said to me, oh, just create a graphic on Canva. It's so easy. And then I'm like 5 hours later with the most basic thing. And I'm like, oh my God, it's not that easy.
Right. Yeah.
So anyway, so here's the thing. Let's get involved in this a little bit. First of all, I have to say, when I was researching you and I was on your website, which is tabithacarro.com, I was lost in your blog. I had to say, LuAnn, okay, other things you need to do today, come out of here, move on, because it is just blog post after blog post on advice and tips on how to. Now, I know, I'm the kind of person that I was thinking to myself, oh, this is great reading all this stuff, but if I ever took my phone out and started to do it, I had this thought of it's not going to be that easy.
Yeah.
So, but a couple of things that I thought were interesting. One of the apps for the phone that you suggest is called This by Tin Rocket, TINROCKET. And it creates little words and labels so that you, for us as in the interior design industry, I'm thinking about me, I have Window Works, it's window treatments. And I was like, oh, you could make a little arrow like this fabric, cravat pattern number XYZ. You know what I mean? I was like, that's so cool. Tell us a little bit about that app. And I didn't try any of the apps that you suggested yet, but I thought I'm going to just ask her if they are as easy to use as she says.
Well, that's what I'm here for. Okay. I'm like the guinea pig of apps. I will try any app. I will pay for all of the in-app purchases because I just love it. But yes, that app, it's super cute, and I think that's what I title it.
Adorable photo label you called it.
Yeah, because and even when you use it, it's so direct, it's so simple. It only serves one purpose, and that's to label. And so you literally touch on a photo, and let's say, you're showing your window treatment. Okay, you added this piece and you added that piece. You just tap wherever you want to. It will automatically create a line, and then you can tap on the pointer end and you have different options. You can have it be circular, you can have it be an arrow, and you can choose between white and black colors to help contrast with whatever background is in the photo. And then you just it has an area to type in the text for whatever you're pointing at. That's literally all you do. And so you can label, identify parts in a photo that you have. It looks so sleek and nice, and it's super easy. And then it's just ready to put out for whatever reason, I've used it in blog posts for DIY, how to do things, like the materials that you need. And then I've used it in an Instagram post for a giveaway to, point out the different items in a giveaway. And I think it's $2, but it's totally worth it.
Well, and so I'm like this because I feel like that sounds so super simple. But I also know that people have said the same thing about Canva. And so I, one time in the middle of a snowstorm here in New Jersey last winter, finally went, okay, I got a little downtime. Let me try this Canva thing. And I went in and I was able to do text on a horizontal the way I wanted to do it, yada, yada, yada. I have never been able to do that since. Like, I cannot figure out how I did it, how it happened. I cannot repeat it. I've tried 50 times. Now, have I taken it to somebody who's, 100 years younger than me and asked them to show me? No, I have not. Okay. But so when you describe this, is it really truly as easy as that? Just tap on it, the little line pops up and I type in, or is it like, you could screw it up 3 times?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, this one is super easy.
Okay.
But the difference between those two, now, were you working with the app or the desktop?
The desktop
version? Okay. Because I actually, I do teach about the Canva app, but I actually don't like that one. So if you have trouble with desktop, you probably really wouldn't like the app. But this app, it's so easy, but you're also limited. Like, it serves that one purpose, to add lines, to add labels. That's it. Whereas Canva, obviously, you
does
have
a lot
like
of stuff.
all this complex stuff that you can do.
Well, and I like that better, because if I want to just put a label on something, that's nice, because it sounds like I can't screw it up. Just like go in, label it, and leave. Now, now the technical part. So, do you start in the app, obviously, then you probably access your pictures on your cell phone, and then do you is it like you save the photograph to your phone again, and then you go back out and go into Instagram and upload your photo? Is that how it works?
Yeah, that's exactly how it works.
I think I could do that.
If you want it on, and then if you want it on your desktop, and this may be something we talk about a little bit later, but I mean, there's just, you just get comfortable with whatever method is easy for you to get your files to your desktop. And then you can also use it there, which is what I do. I primarily use AirDrop because I'm a Mac user as well as an iPhone user, but there's an app, Simple Transfer Pro, that I use when AirDrop is not being nice and not working, and that is an app that will also easily get whatever files on your Photos app to your desktop, whether it's a PC or a Mac. But anyways, like, it's a simple app, but anything that you can do on your phone, you can also use in whatever desktop visual creations you need, which is what I do. Yeah, I'm not like 100%, I do everything on my iPhone, but I do create all my visuals on my iPhone, and then they go to my desktop for so many reasons, whether it's a YouTube video and the YouTube thumbnail, it's a blog post, all the designs I need for my blog post. So yeah, that's what I use my iPhone for. And then you can use it for so many reasons. It doesn't just have to be Instagram, which we typically think of, because it's right there on your phone.
Okay. So what you're describing is that when you put it to your desktop computer, then something that you've created, I hadn't thought about that you then are maybe using it as, like you said, the thumbnail for YouTube. So that's right. You do need it in different platforms. Okay. I mean, I actually do that. I actually do change the thumbnails on my YouTube and didn't even make the connection there. Okay. There's so much. We just got started and I'm already exhausted. Okay. So now the other app that I liked that you talked about was announcing a Facebook Live, and that app was called Legend. And so that I glanced at that blog post and I looked at it. I didn't watch the video of it because I thought, I figured I got right away what it was. So it's a way to create some sort of striking graphic that just says your Facebook is going to go live soon or something.
Yes. So Legend is a very easy, quick, once again, if you're looking for just straightforward text on photo or text on video app, and what it will do is create a 6-second video, regardless if you put a photo for the underneath visual or a video. It will still only do 6 seconds of the video, and then you type in whatever text. So for that blog post, I was just talking about if if you're doing Facebook Live and you want to get the word out beforehand, or for whatever social media announcement that you have, you can easily just type in the text. Then once you type in the text, it will give you like 3 different pages you can swipe through of cool animations. So what it's doing is this isn't just a static text overlay type app. It's creating these engaging animations that hopefully will grab people's attention when they see it in their feed. And then once you pick the one that you want, there's one that's actually a clock, which is what I shared because I thought it was really cool. And it actually shows the time, an animated clock of when that event is going to occur. And then once you select that, you can like pick some colors if you want to change up the colors. If not, you leave it how it is. And once again, save to your camera roll, or choose a platform on your phone that you want to push it out to.
So there's only 3 animations to pick from. So is it that the
3
whole
pages?
3 pages.
Yeah, like you swipe. Yeah. There's like maybe 6 on each, so you swipe through. There's one that I really like that's really cool, and it will actually like initially blur the photo or video background. And then your text comes in animated. It's really subtle and nice. And then all of a sudden, the background, whatever was in your background, will clear and where they can see it. And it's just a really subtle, cool touch. But I think there's like 18 different ones. The only thing about this app, which is not a big deal, is that the output is going to be in square shape. So if you're looking, like I do share how you could use this for YouTube videos, but if you're doing anything widescreen or vertical, it's going to be a little bit trickier because your output is square. But nowadays, for Facebook or for Instagram or for Twitter, square's totally great. Actually, it actually takes up more space on at least a phone screen. When people are on their phones and they come across a visual, square is actually better.
Okay. So now clear me up a little bit on the actual use of this particular app. So say a designer has a Facebook, is going to do a Facebook Live, and she's going to give a tip on how to decorate your living room for Christmas or something like that, right?
Right.
So the designer, do we start in Facebook Live? Do we start in Legend? Or is this something that we do to our Facebook Live video after it's been posted live and you're reposting it as a non-live video? Like, do you know what I'm asking you?
Right. Yeah,
Okay.
totally. No, this would be something separate that you would push out to your social media platforms ahead of time, just to let them know about your Facebook Live. Because it's in video format or output, it's not something that you would add to your Facebook Live. Because, like, for example, you can go into your Facebook Live afterwards and edit the thumbnail. This you wouldn't use because its output is video. You can also do GIF output as well. But yeah, no, this for me filled a need because I do Facebook Lives and they make me super nervous, blah, blah, blah. And so it's like, it's hard for me, like beforehand, it's like I need to promote, but I'm really thinking I just want to get this Facebook Live over with. So I needed something that was easy that I could, because really, if you want to get more engagement on your Facebook Live at the beginning, you got to let people know. You have to let your followers know. So I was like, I found this to be really cool because of the one clock animation as well. It's just really neat. Whenever you want to let your followers know about a certain timed event that's coming up, then that's when this would come into play, just to let people know and hopefully get more eyes on whatever that event, or if it's Facebook Live, if it's, something different, just so that they know about it coming up.
Okay. And the clock, you can the app lets you change the time. It's not like it's just a clock and, you actually can say
Right.
4 o'clock. Okay. And now let me ask you another question about that. So by the way, I get the distinction. This isn't the actual video of your Facebook Live. This is letting people know you're going to go live. So you might, maybe you're a designer that goes live every Tuesday at 2 o'clock. And so you would put this out at say 1 o'clock and say, don't forget I'm going live in an hour or something like that. Right?
Right. And typically way more, it depends on what platform. If you're going to announce on Facebook or Instagram, you probably want to put it out a day before at least, because of the algorithms that will really delay often the putting out of your post to your audience. So a lot of times, like on Instagram, if you put it an hour beforehand, I mean, I see posts from 2 or 3 days ago when I go to my Instagram.
Oh, okay.
So that would kind of be disappointing. So yeah, that's just something to think about.
Okay, good. And then I have another question about that. So this is something that you are posting in real time through this Legend app. It's not something that you can schedule and you can create it and then say, I know that as an interior designer, I do a Facebook Live every Tuesday at 2 o'clock and I give them my tip of the week, Tip Tuesday. So I can't schedule Legend to let everybody know on, Monday at 9 a.m. Don't forget about Tuesday at 1 p.m. I have to put it in.
You totally can schedule. And actually that's what I do. Yeah, it's gonna yeah, it's actually not a live thing, it's just a visual, it's a video creation tool. It will go to your camera roll, and like I have Buffer on my phone, there's an app. So for me, I could just schedule that actually right from my phone. I wouldn't have to worry about transferring to my desktop and then putting it out on my scheduler there. So, but anyways, if you schedule on your desktop, then you would just use whatever transfer method works for you, and then go to your scheduler and schedule it out. It's video format, 6 seconds.
Okay, you just lost me. I'm sure you didn't lose a lot of the designers listening, but you just lost me. So transfer and Buffer, are these like Hootsuite? Is that what you're saying?
Oh, yes. So Buffer is exactly like Hootsuite. It's just a scheduler. You can schedule to your Facebook pages. I think you can schedule to your groups, to your personal profile. So I use that to go ahead and prepare content for my Facebook pages and my Facebook groups that I have. And they have an app, and Hootsuite, I just never have gotten into that scheduler. I just like Buffer, but it's all the same. But the app works really well. So if you get into creating designs and visuals on your phone, then it's really cool because you don't have that extra step of having to get it to your desktop and all of that.
Right. And that's really, I have like other questions in there, but I just want to say that's really the whole point of this podcast with you, is that you are the guru on how to do these things on your phone, which, so like you said, the point is to eliminate that step of having to create the darn thing and then somehow getting it from your computer to your phone. So, okay, cool. So now, so what we're saying in this Legend app is, though, just to recap that, is that we're creating an announcement that we can share on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram, that says, I am going to be doing this. And the app itself is creating an animated little segment, which is, I know from different other experts that have been on the show, that the animation is what, the algorithms love, whether it's Twitter or Facebook or whatever. So that's what we're saying. So we're talking about sitting down, maybe how much time. And would you suggest, Tabitha, that somebody let's use this, stay with the same example. A designer does Tip Tuesday every Tuesday at 1 o'clock and la, la, la. So would you suggest that a designer use the same visual in Legend to create that awareness, like so that people are starting to see every Sunday and Monday the reminder for the Tip Tuesday? Or do you think that one time they use the clock, one time they use something else? Which is better there, to create the consistency or to be something different each week in somebody's feed?
I think either way is fine, and I totally get what you're saying. I think the consistency would be cool if they're always using a different photo, or video in the background. So I guess like if they are going to take a photo of whatever that Facebook Live is about for that week, then I think you could be consistent and use the same whichever animation you choose, whether it's a clock or different one, you could be consistent. So the followers know, hey, they automatically connect that to the weekly Facebook Live. But if like they're going to kind of keep things the same, then it starts to get boring, and it will also look like a lack of effort.
Okay.
So you want to be careful with that as well. But if the background is always something new and interesting, then stay consistent.
Okay, so I missed that layer. So there's not only the template that you select that has from the 6 pages of what's available in animation, you're also attaching your own photograph to this too.
Right. Now, you don't have to, you can choose a solid background. So as soon as you open the app, you automatically have the text box area at the top, and then there's a little photo icon. If you don't tap the photo icon, it's going to automatically choose the background as black, and I think that text is yellow. And then when you choose your animation, you can select from their colors, but you don't have a lot of you have their options, but for example, for your branding, you can't pick colors. There may not be colors that match your branding. So what you can do is tap the photo icon and import whatever you have on your camera roll that goes along with whatever the message is.
Okay. So what we're saying is, again, if it's Tip Tuesday and today's tip is how to decorate for Halloween, the background picture could be something like that. And then it's Tip Tuesday the following week, and it could be, best tips for curb appeal at Thanksgiving. It could be that picture, and that's what you're saying, right?
Yeah.
Love it.
Absolutely.
Oh. Okay. So, all right. You know what I love about this? I love that these are great ideas. And I know that there are a ton of designers out there listening that are just so tech savvy and so into this stuff and are going to just kill it. I'm going to start seeing it. I guarantee you 1 week after the show airs, I'm going to be like, oh my goodness, they're doing this. But on the other hand, there's people like me that are going to be like, oh my goodness, it's one more thing I have to do.
And now for me, I just don't know, because you have your two kind of people. You have your people that because of tech, they really feel bogged down. But now your phone opens up a world. What I'm teaching is really not tech. What I'm just teaching is understanding where things are in an app and how to tap them and get what you want. So it's actually great for those who aren't techie, but I do have a lot, I come from a teaching background and a teacher entrepreneur world that we have. And so I have a lot of members and people that I interact with that teach me a lot as well, that are, they're like ITs at their school, they're the tech people, and they love it as well, because it's cool, it's fun, and it's, something you can do on your phone anytime, anywhere. So it can be for either. And for some people, that don't have a team, they don't have, a designer working for them, it's still possible now to do great visuals and quality visuals without the need to understand all these programs and stuff that's so complicated.
No, I hear you. I actually do. No, I do. I mean, and that's why I was so attracted to have you on the show, because I can see from reading the blog posts and so forth that that's exactly what you're about. You're about teaching, the person with 90 thumbs like me how to just make the basic things that you would normally do just that little bit nicer, that little bit more professional, that little bit cooler, Right. My brain just fries, because I already have a list of 50 things that I've learned from guests about social media that I haven't done yet. So
I hear you.
Oh God. And I'm sitting here going, this would be awesome for both the podcast and WindowWorks, these things. So anyway, so it's very cool. Let's talk a little bit about Instagram stories. You have a post, or it might even be in a little mini course. I don't recall which one it was, on how to create engaging Instagram stories. And what I would love, Tabitha, for you to first do is convince me why I should care about Instagram stories, because it's lost on me. It is. I do not get it. Because what it is I'm going to tell you why I don't get it. Okay. I don't get it because when you put something up on the regular Instagram and I want to comment and I want to compliment you, or I want to ask you a question, it's there. And I feel like, particularly if you're complimenting, I mean, our industry, you have to look at some of the feeds of the interior designers that we've had on the show and the listeners of the show, the things that they are creating, the kitchens they're designing, the rooms they're designing, they're just amazing. And so I feel like if I'm going to say something complimentary about a design, I not only want that designer to know it, but I want all of the people that are there to know that like, you want the designer to get the props, the love, and everybody to see it. And the thing is, with Instagram stories, I think I was like commenting for like 2 weeks before Kim told me that nobody sees that but that person. And so I was like, okay, well, I'm still
what a waste.
Yeah, well, I'm like, okay, that's still cool that person knows that I'm impressed by their work, but they're not getting the social proof of the whole reason. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, I don't have to tell the same person that I already know every week that their work is beautiful. They know I like their work. So I don't get it. It's lost on me. Convince me that they're necessary.
Okay. So it just depends on who you are as a person. But everybody, the experts and everything will tell you how important it is now to build relationships, to be personal, to be raw, authentic. And this is where Instagram stories comes in. Whereas your Instagram post, that I know your audience produces these beautiful, amazing photos and visuals of their work. Yes, you do put that somewhere that's going to stay there and for the world to see. But the awesome thing about Instagram stories is it helps to make you personable with your audience. It's a way for them to connect with you and to not, like, I have people that will ask me questions all the time on my stories and what I posted. And I show a lot about my personal life. We're traveling right now and I have a dog, but then I slide in those tips and that value as well. And I just think when you do those things, it really helps people remember you, which is what you want as well. But I have people ask me questions all the time that they may not feel comfortable asking in a public area. Then they feel, we have this interaction that's one-on-one. Okay. They totally remember me now. And so, whether or not they become a buying customer in the future or not, it's just knowing that your passion, like my passion with smartphone marketing, and you just know that you're able to help on an individual basis and impact lives that way. And I'm making Instagram stories be like this. Wow. I don't know if it's like that, but I have friendships that, like right now I'm on the road in an RV and, like, I'm going to meet these people.
Yes,
because like I feel like they're truly my friend. Have I ever met them in the flesh? No, I haven't. Right. But because we're always commenting on each other's stories, getting to know each other, it's just so easy. Whereas your social media public posts, you got to make them quality. They have to be nice. Instagram stories, and for your audience, it's just so easy to show what you're doing on a day-to-day basis. Give them a glimpse of, what you're working on, what you're creating. And people will eat it up, and it doesn't have to be quality, and you don't want it to be. You're actually, putting yourself out there, and you don't even have to show yourself. Actually, I rarely do. Because I'm looking rough right now on the road. But what I do, you just give them a lens into your eyes. Like, what are you seeing? And so, and I actually have a separate phone because for me it's a little bit complicated because I'm showing how to do things on a phone. I have my old phone, so I'll actually do an Instagram story videoing myself doing whatever I was just doing anyway. I'm like, hey, let me share that in Instagram stories. So I'll just video it really quick. And yeah, it's just you're giving people a lens into your work, your passion, what you do. And those, who are into interior design and what those designers are creating, like, they'll love it. I think they would love to see more of LuAnn and what she's doing.
See, and I think that's where the disconnect is for me. I think I just can't believe that people care about what I'm doing today. Like, my mind boggles at it. I'm just like, I don't know. It's so funny. And so I think maybe what it is that maybe it's a tiny bit generational in that, a lot of you guys grew up with reality TV. You know what I mean? Like, maybe I'm sitting here thinking, okay, I'm literally understanding what you're saying. I'm like, oh, I'm thinking about it the wrong way. It's for the background. It's for the behind the scenes. And when you say it, I'm like, LuAnn, I say this. Everybody that listens to the show regularly knows I say this all the time. You have to hear something 2, 3, 4 different ways very often before it gets through their thick skull, right? Or before somebody says it in a way that you hear it. And as you were discussing it, I'm like, how many times are you going to be told that the value in this is that people want to know the behind the scenes? And I'm like, okay. And of course, my brain goes, as you're talking, right. Interior designers, they're, working on a floor plan or they're creating this and la, la, la. And I get it. And then when I think about it for me, I'm like, nobody wants to know what I'm doing. It's so bizarre.
Well, I think the point is that, like, for Instagram stories, if you don't enjoy like the aspect of showing yourself, then it may not be for you, because the point is not like, if you're going to look at it like, okay, what's my ROI on this, what am I going to get back from this, like how many people are going to purchase because I'm doing Instagram, then you probably don't want to do it,
right?
It's like brand awareness, it's things you're not going to be able to really measure it. But if you enjoy it, whereas for me, I love it, but I also love watching other people's. And I have a separate Instagram account that's just personal, where I literally just stalk people on Instagram stories. And like, they really don't know, but like, I follow, in my mind, one day I'm going to be a raw vegan, but right now that's not happening. But anyways, I follow, and you're talking about the generation, it may be generational. I did start out on Snapchat, which made the crossover super easy, because at first you're like, what? You're swiping up and down and you're doing like, this makes no sense. So there is a little bit to learn if you're completely new to a stories type format. Right. But I mean, I follow this one lady, I think she's called Raw Tanya. And I mean, she's like a grandma and everything, but she goes through a day showing her green smoothies, and I just like eat it up. Wow. And I can't get enough of it. Yeah. And so it doesn't matter how old you are. That's definitely, it's just like, if you enjoy sharing those insights into your life, and getting that one-on-one with people or not, like, there's like, I've never even commented on Raw Tanya's story. She has no idea, but that one day she may say, hey, I've got this new smoothie ebook out. I will feel like very interested, because I've seen what she produces in the food, and it looks amazing. So once again, with interior designers, if they're sharing these insights and taking the time, if they have the time to answer and have this rapport with people, then when it's like, hey, I'm offering this or whatever, then you'll all of a sudden have this interest that you didn't even realize, because you've been cultivating that with the Instagram stories.
Right. Okay. All right. So, clank me over the head. So, okay. So I get it. So it's kind of like the Instagram page is the best foot forward with the professional and what your company can do and your design firm can create. And then the Instagram stories is a place to draw prospective clients in to your world and let them get a flavor for who you are, what your values are, what, how you go about your design process, and to just have a more casual interaction with them there.
Absolutely. Like your Instagram feed is polished, and then your Instagram stories is just unpolished, raw, which for me, it's like takes off a lot of pressure. Because, you do feel like your feed, wherever you put there, has to be like super nice or whatever. But with this, like, it's just, so I actually don't post as much on my Instagram feed, which may not be a great tip, but you know, I try to, so yeah, don't listen to that. But because I know that I'm also active in Instagram stories, I know that I'm still putting time in to work on, you know, getting the word out about myself and all of that.
Okay.
So, and I just don't have to worry about it being perfect.
And do you suggest that people, if they're inclined to do one or the other, Facebook Live or Instagram stories, that they just give a thought to where they have more potential clients, like if, you know, based on their business or their following, or is it, you know, do both, or, you know, is it like, I always use the example, should you get an A in a regular class or should you get a B in an AP class? And the answer is you should get an A in an AP class. Like, awesome. You know, so should you get an A in Facebook Live and Instagram stories, or should you get, you know what I mean? Like, is it about where your people are, your consumers are, that might be interested in your design services? Or do you recommend that people, if you're just going to get ready and do an Instagram story, that you turn around 5 seconds later and do the same thing Facebook Live?
Well, I think they serve different purposes. So it just depends on what you, you know, feel like doing. Now for Facebook Live, I'm assuming definitely for interior designers, and like, you know, you could also do behind the scenes as well. It could be totally raw. I guess I'm thinking for myself, when I do a Facebook Live, it's going to be a tutorial. It means preparation.
Okay.
It means a lot of work. But what do I get from that? It's something that's permanent, that's going to stay on my page, that I can also boost to get it out to more people. Then I can target those people that viewed it. You know, it's just a totally different, for me, it's a totally different tool that I use.
That makes sense. I like that. So what you're basically saying is, for an interior designer, Facebook Live is that place to do that Tuesday tip, or to teach something about design or paint selection or cabinet selection or the quality of a sofa, whereas Instagram stories is, I'm on my way to pick the paints, and here's my pretty shoes.
This is what I would say. If Instagram stories is, and you totally do that, actually, if people eat it up. I mean, like, people feel like they have a relationship with my dog, which is so weird, but I'm serious. Like, they will talk to me and be like, please tell Pookie, you know, give Pookie my love. And I'm like, I wonder if Pookie wasn't here, if they would even be following my stories. But, you know, it's because I'm just drawing, you know, and there's people that are not dog lovers, so they're probably going to be like, oh, I'm not watching that. And that's okay. Like, you draw people that are drawn to you, and that's specific. But I think if Instagram stories, you know, if you're doing it and it just like is not fun for you, then I would drop it. But one interesting thing I think is, if you do enjoy it, and you're also a Facebook Live person, Instagram stories is a way also to let your audience know that you're doing a Facebook Live soon, because it's a 24-hour period that your story stays up. And it is not like almost every feed nowadays that it has an algorithm and it may not go out to your audience. Instagram stories, it's going to pop up there regardless. There's no algorithm yet, knock on wood. And so, like I said, if you do an Instagram post announcing your Facebook Live, people may not see it till afterwards, which stinks. Whereas Instagram stories, you can just say personally, hey guys, just want to let you know that, you know, tomorrow, you probably want to say tomorrow because it is a 24-hour, it does last for 24 hours. Tomorrow, blah, 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 I'm going to be, you know, showing how to decorate whatever. And it's cool because, you know, people are going to see it. If they see it, they're going to see it beforehand. And so that can also increase your engagement on your Facebook Live. So I use it for that as well. But yeah, if you don't enjoy just sharing about your life or, you know, anything like that, it may not be the right tool for you, because sometimes people will only use it to like announce business stuff or all of that. And you can use it that way, but it's really about getting on a personal level.
Okay. All right. I like the distinction. You're about the fourth or fifth person. It's getting through slowly but surely.
Maybe about 7 more people.
That's it. So now, having had the discussion about the value of it and the different ways to look at it in contrast to the other types of social media, are there particular things that we need to know? I mean, there's no app that you just go on and you just hit stories and do your story. There's nothing technical that we need to discuss there, right?
There's nothing technical, no. But if you want there to be, there definitely can be.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah, because the blog post that you mentioned, it's like the one that gets pretty much all of my traffic, even though it's a pretty old post. But it's because there's definitely apps that can enhance your Instagram stories if you want it to. For example, this is something that I may, do to promote this podcast interview. There are apps like Adobe Spark Post that I love, Word Swag, InShot, and I share a lot of those that will do vertical design, which is something that I'm really loving right now. But I can create just a solid text animation in Adobe Spark Post. And the problem with Legend, right, that I mentioned previously, is that it's square, so it's a little bit more difficult. But Adobe Spark Post, when you open up the app and you press the plus sign, there's this green plus sign, and then you can either add a photo from your library, you can choose from their free images, or you can choose solid background. And so, you can just pick solid background, then you'll tap and add text. You can say, hey, I'm doing a Facebook Live or whatever. And then they also have a little, there's a tool, it's called animation. You'll see it at the bottom. It says animation. You tap that and you can do, you can choose from their types of animations as well. You then press the upload button, so it will go to your camera roll, and it's a 4-second animated video. So that's just one example of how there are apps that can contribute to your Instagram stories if you want to. And for example, what I just shared is a way to put something on Instagram stories where you're not even having to show yourself. You're not having to video anything. Like maybe you're not feeling that, but you still want to get a message out to your followers. Then you can use, that's where apps would come into play as well. There's apps like the InShot app that I mentioned.
How do you spell that? What's that?
InShot is just in and shot.
Okay.
InShot, and it's available for Android and iPhone. The Android may not have exactly the same tools, but I believe in that blog post that I have, I mention it and I show a little bit how to use it. But it's really cool because it will take any photo or video that you have, and it will put it into vertical sizing without cropping it. If you don't want it cropped, it will either do like blurred margins above and below, or you could pick a solid background. But anyways, that's a really cool app because oftentimes you're like, hey, I just made this cool video, or maybe it's a video or photo that you posted in your Instagram feed and it's square. You're like, I also want to plug this into my Instagram stories. Might as well recycle it, repurpose it, but it's not the right dimension. So if you put like a square photo or video or widescreen, it's going to crop it. Like it's going to just blow up on the vertical screen of Instagram stories, but you could use an app like InShot, like I mentioned. And that way it will stay the correct size. It will just have margins, and in those margins I'll usually add text or a sticker or something,
Okay. Are
something
these
fun?
And so I now, as you're talking about these different apps for Instagram stories, these are the apps where people put like the bunny ears on themselves and stuff like that.
If you want. Now, I have done that from time to time because sometimes those filters make you look cuter.
And they're funny. Those are funny sometimes. Yeah. Amber Lewis will do that once in a while. She'll be on there with her child, her little girl, and they'll do funny. And it's adorable. And I'm like, yeah, it is funny, kind of knowing people's behind the scenes.
Well, and totally. And I think, interior designers have to be the most creative people on the planet.
Right.
There's a lot of fun, cool tips and tricks and things that you can do. You've got the pen where you can draw. You've got the stickers that they have. You have the filters that you just mentioned. Like, there's a lot of cool stuff. And there's some, like, I follow some kind of like designers, not interior designers, but just like design, fashion, things like that. And their stories are so pretty, and it's just, there's a world of opportunity. It's just fun. It's for a certain type of person, maybe not LuAnn, but it can be a creative outlet as well, because, and it's raw, so it doesn't have to be perfect, and you just put it out after you had some fun with it. And another thing is, if you have, at the moment that I'm speaking, if you have 10,000 followers or more, which I know is a huge number, but if you do have access to inserting a link into your stories as well, which is actually easier for your followers to go somewhere that you want them to, whether it's a blog post or it could be the link to the Facebook Live or whatever. You can actually link that up in the Instagram story, where it's much easier for people to check that out, as regards to saying, hey, go to my bio, tap my bio link, blah, blah, blah. Whereas they're not as likely to do that. They just swipe up and they could like read your blog post right there.
Right. And it's funny that you say that, because we're recording at the end of August, and my friend Mark McDonough just started doing that on his Instagram stories and stuff. But we did find out right away that you had to have 10,000 more followers. Yeah. Allison Fannin was the one who came right into the thing, and she's like, I think you have to have 10,000, more to do that. And so I was like, oh, great. So one more thing
I feel like that will change. I hope that it will, because, especially now, it's not that easy anymore on Instagram to get up there like it used to be. I feel like that will change, but in the meantime, that's just for. Yeah.
That is valuable. I could see that as being, much easier than having them go back and forth to your profile and so forth. Okay, all right. So look, there's a lot to be done. It's a matter of my great fear is that I don't want people to get bogged down in these things and not do things that create and generate revenue. So I do think you have to sit and figure out which are the things that are best for you to do for your design business, and zero in on them. I mean, I feel like this is that saying shiny object syndrome. Every single week I'm interviewing amazing people like yourself that have all these fabulous ideas, and then I'm writing notes, and I'm like, oh yeah, I have to do this for WindowWorks, I have to do this for the podcast, and I get off and I'm like, oh my goodness, I actually have to just produce the podcast and sell window treatments.
Yeah.
So it is exciting, because we are right brain people for the most part, and your brain does sort of just wander and dream about the things that you could create and the things that you could do to just make it so much better. So, but I like the idea of maybe tackling one or two things and really getting them down, so it's like the back of your hand, really using these apps like the back of your hand, and then moving on, right? So, okay, so tell us a little bit, because we've been on by the time your show goes up live, Tabitha, it'll be a couple of weeks out, but we have recently, in real time, as you and I are recording, been talking a lot about Pinterest and how to leverage Pinterest for our interior design businesses. So Allison Fannin discussed it, and Leslie Carruthers from Savor Partnerships, she discussed it a little bit. So you also have some tips for Pinterest and for, the iPhone usage and the apps for Pinterest. Would you give us a little bit about that?
Yeah, absolutely. And I do have as well, I have a blog post. I just was remembering. So if you go on my blog, there is a blog post that shows ways to create Pinterest tall designs on your phone. And then, we were talking about, I do have Facebook Live as well on my Facebook public page that shows how I do it with Adobe Spark Post. Once I hated creating Pinterest designs on desktop, because it just like vertical and your desktop is not, and it just you're like, okay, how many pixels and things like that, and it's very frustrating. But once I start doing on my phone, your phone is a vertical screen. Your phone is actually beautiful, perfect size for creating vertical designs for Pinterest. So ever since I figured that out, figured out how to get my branding in there, like I never looked back. And so I have a lot of fellow entrepreneur friends that need Pinterest for their marketing, and they'll talk about how much they hate it. I'm just like, if you switch over to your phone, but that's my personal preference. I just love it. But as far as apps I would recommend, Adobe Spark Post. Now, it's not available for Android yet, but they are, as I'm speaking right now, maybe, it's available now, but that's in the works. So that will become available. I have a Facebook Live demo. This one app will do everything that I can imagine that you would need for creating vertical designs, because you can do collages, you can do multiple photos, and they actually have, when you go and tap the plus sign to start a new project, and you can pick one of their designs and just insert your own photos into that template, or you can start from scratch. But when you go to the sizes, just swipe over. They've got all the different sizes, and one of them is Pinterest. So you don't even have to worry about dimensions. Pinterest sizing, as of right now that I'm speaking, it changes all the time. It's a little bit shorter than the your phone screen. So phone screen is 9:16 aspect ratio. And so when the Pinterest designs, the Pinterest sizing that this app gives you, and Word Swag is another app that's available for Android and for iOS that has also Pinterest sizing. You'll notice it's a little bit shorter, but you can, anyways, there's so many apps. Even if they don't say Pinterest, just stick with 9:16 if you see that anywhere on the sizing, and that will give you a beautiful tall vertical image. But getting back to Adobe Spark Post, you can do collages, you do text overlays. Now you can insert if you know your hex color codes for your branding, you can actually now insert that, or you can also, they have a little eyedropper tool. You can just, whatever's in the photo, you can touch it and it will make the font and whatever shapes you put in, it will make that match that color exactly.
Wow.
So you can make sure your branding's on track, and then you can also insert, if it's a PNG file, and something I encourage anybody who's wanting to start doing designs on their phone, make sure you have transferred your logo, and you have that either in your favorites, or you create a folder for an album of your logos or whatever, because in this app and a bunch of apps like WordSwag that I mentioned, you can insert your logo as well, get that stamp on there before you put it out on Pinterest.
Nice. Okay, so what you're talking about is if you have just taken a picture on your iPhone of a project that you don't intend to professionally you don't intend to put it out to publication, because we all know you don't put your photos out to the internet if you're going to pitch it to a publication. But if you have no intention of pitching it to a publication, but you took a picture of something you just created, a beautiful vignette, a room, whatever it is, you're saying that through this app, either the Adobe Spark Post or WordSwag app, you then are able to format your own picture and do everything it needs to be done to be a pinnable picture to put to Pinterest.
Absolutely.
Whoa.
Yes.
Okay.
And if you download Adobe Spark Post, if you do have an iOS device, and you go to my Facebook page and you go to videos, you should see, hopefully you don't have to scroll too far, but I have a Facebook Live. It says how to create Pinterest designs with one app. Wow. And that will really take you from step one, all the way to adding your text, getting your logo in there, and all of that, and it'll show you how to do it. And honestly, I have so much fun with it. So I think I just love that I'm talking to a creative audience, because once tech is not in the picture, I just think that these are definitely people who would find this super fun, and the fact that you can just do it anytime you need, and you don't have to pull out the laptop or whatever.
So yeah, and that just made me think of something. I think in my mind, I think about that if I were to put some energy and time into creating a process with these apps and picking one or two, and like I said a moment ago, mastering them, getting it so that I actually, like for instance now, like I can upload an Instagram post very easily. I know, hands, yay, LuAnn, right? But it wasn't always easy to do. I was like, what? And that? And so what I'm saying is it's almost like, okay, I have that part down. So maybe try this Adobe Spark post. And what it is I'm visualizing. Right now, I can be at a restaurant and meet my husband for dinner and be like, "Oh, I didn't do the 8:00 post for Instagram." And in between, the waitress asking me what kind of Pinot Noir I want and her bringing it back, I can do the post, right? So that's what I'm thinking, right?
Once you drink the Pinot Noir, you can really be inspired, and you will create the most beautiful design ever.
That's true. But the thing is, are we saying that there's that same thing, like play around with Adobe Spark post, for example, or play around with Legend, and then that level of ease of use is coming from that, and now it's not something that I have to sit down at my desk at 9:00 in the morning, fully awake, fully focused, and do. I can sort of now add to my social media on the fly. That's your whole platform, right? Figure out how to do it easy, do it on your phone, and if you want to do it on the fly, you can, right?
Yes, exactly. And I think nowadays with social media, it's so fast, like you said. And so there's also, and like you said, you don't have to be in all places at once, pick and choose what you can do 100% well. But to me, the visuals, the amount of quality visuals I was able to produce once I learned how to do it from my phone versus when I had my husband's Canon camera and I was lugging that around and pulling out the card and putting it, all of the stuff. Once there was not that cumbersome process and I could do it, when I'm on the couch with my dog or whatever, I've been able to just create so much more. And which I think is great because, as long as they're quality, the more you're putting out there, the more brand awareness you're creating. But we, in our little community, we call ourselves couch hustlers because
right. I saw that hashtag couch hustlers.
Yeah. And that's literally, it was so funny because in my private group, I had a girl, she wanted to switch out her Facebook Live thumbnail. She wanted to, pick the one she wanted or whatever. And I was like, I think you're going to have to go to your desktop. And she was like, no, this is no fun. And she's like, and I blame you now that I never, because once you take that time, if you're in a position where getting social media designs, you need to, and you don't have a system, because I know a lot of people, you've already got your system on your desktop. It works great. Yeah. So this may not be for you, but if people are looking, I'm looking for an easier way. I'm looking for a way where I don't actually abhor and hate this process.
Right.
Then I think it's something to try. And it's so funny because those who grab onto it and love it, like myself and like my friend I was talking about, it's like, oh my goodness, when you have to open your desktop, it's just the worst. You're like, no, I have to sit upright.
That's right. I have to go all the way over there and get that thing.
Yes.
Well, it's the truth. We're so much on the fly. And to me, I can't tell you. I mean, I try on show day to post 4 to 5, 6 times a day the work of the designer that's featured on the show that day. But those posts are happening at a traffic light. I promise you.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Totally.
So, it is nice to be able to up your game a little bit and utilize the iPhone and the apps in order to, to get past the basics. And that's exactly what everything you do is so cool. And it's very interesting. And I love how much you give it away. So I just want to tell everybody it's TabithaCarro.com and it's CARRO.com. And I have to say, I really feel like this is an episode where you almost, as you were describing a lot of things, I was like, I wish I could do 2 things at once because I'd like to be able to open the apps and play with them as you were talking about them. So I know a lot of people are probably like, okay, I'm driving, I'm running, what is this about? But, and I love that, you described more than a couple of times that is your Facebook, the open Facebook group, Tabitha, what is it called?
It's Smartphone Marketing School. So if you're just on Facebook in the search bar, just look up Smartphone Marketing School. And as of right now, I should be the only one that pops up. Yeah.
Okay,
And that's my page. Yeah.
And that's a page where we just go and we like it and we follow it. And all of this content is there. And I love it. And then, of course, on your website, you said you have the video tab where a lot of your tutorials are there. And also your blog on your website is an insane amount of information. Like I said, I was like a little lost on it. I'm like, okay, LuAnn, come on back. So it's very, very, and I have to say for me, I normally would not be attracted to that information. I would normally go, I have to have people to do this for me. I can't do this. But I was like, it is very user friendly, and it is very like, I want to get my phone out and sort of follow along and try and do this. So,
well, I started my career as a kindergarten teacher for 6 years. So I mean, for me, I want it simple. I want it easy. And I that's what I try to, also get out to people. And I think like feeling like I sometimes have ADD helps. Like if I'm bored with my own content, come on. Like, and I expect other people to be interested. No, like it's gotta at least be interesting to me. So, that helps as well. But I'm not sure if you're going to mention, but I have the free courses that I have are actually at courses.tabithacarro.com.
Okay, and, good. So that's a separate courses dot.
No, just because it's a URL. So it's courses.tabithacarro.com.
Good.
And when you go there, if you don't see anything, it's because I'm having my quarterly enrollment for membership. But if you do see the courses, there's the Couch Hustler course, which is great for those who are like very curious, very interested, because it'll show you the basic ropes that you need, which are how to make sure you've got storage, get your transfer method down between your desktop and your phone. Then it actually goes into Legend specifically. I believe it may also go into WordSwag. Yeah, it goes into WordSwag as well. And you get video tutorials that walk you through. So you're not having to just listen to me talk right now and try to understand what I'm saying.
Right.
You can actually see it there. And so we call that the Couch Hustler course. There's one iPhone product video course that is more for people that have small products that they sell. It teaches you how to video and photo, but you could actually learn there. You'll learn the accessories that will help you, script writing, things like that, as far as using your phone as your video camera and your photo camera as well. So that could still be helpful when you're taking photos and videos with your phone. And then at the header, it's not actually a course down below, but the header of courses.tabithacarro.com is where I have the 4-day design challenge, which I feel like your audience will just like tear through. And I think you'll really appreciate it because it will show you how to get your brand hex colors on your phone. You don't even have to go to a desktop. It will show you what apps you can use for if you have custom fonts that you use with your branding. A lot of people feel like they can't switch over to design on their phone because they need to have their fonts and their colors. Well, this shows you how you can actually, a lot of apps now allow you to import custom fonts and to choose your color codes to get your exact branding. So this, in 4 days, you'll be able to create designs that match your branding as well. And then you can incorporate that into whatever kinds of designs that you need. So yeah, that's all there. It's all free. And it really can kind of help you know, is this up my alley or is it not?
I love it. That's an amazing level of content to be giving away for free. That's really impressive. And the thing is, and I'm just going to say it because you and I talked off air, and you're not about selling. And I think it's honorable of you because you do give all this away. But I'm going to say you do have this paid membership. If somebody wants to join you, only open it quarterly. It's probably going to be very timely because the show will probably air right around the time in October. We're going to probably air this towards the end of September, where you're opening this course, this membership program where it's not very expensive. It's for a full year, and you then are part of a secret Facebook group, and you have access to a lot more stuff. And honestly, I have to say, everybody, typically, you know me, I'm happy to share anything a guest has, available for you guys, because if it'll help you. But in this particular case, I know, Tabitha, that you have taught us a lot right here in real time, opened up a lot of possibilities for us in real time that I know are going to be very valuable for our particular type of industry, but also just all of that free level of content. I'm way, way, way happy to share that you have a paid level of content, because it's, I think you're awesome. I think it's terrific what you've done. It's certainly needed. Somebody needs to teach us it in a very easy, approachable way. At least that's what I need, because as soon as it feels too tech, I'm like, whatever.
I'm out of here.
So, oh man, well, thank you so much. So we have courses.tabithacarro.com, and we have tabithacarro.com. And of course, you have the Facebook group is Smartphone Marketing School. I love it. And then what are you on Instagram? What is the handle on Instagram?
Just Smartphone Marketing School.
Okay.
I just keep it simple.
Very, 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 very good. I love it. I can't thank you enough. I really, really think I'm going to get a lot of good feedback on your episode. Thanks for sharing it with us today, Tabitha.
Well, thank you so much for having me, and I totally enjoyed it.
Thank you for joining me again today for another episode of A Well-Designed Business. This podcast is a production of WindowWorks in Livingston, New Jersey, your trade resource for custom window treatments and awnings. Learn more about WindowWorks at www.windowworks-nj.com. All of our music is original music by Room 2 Productions. Please contact us if you want to learn more about original music for your business or your events.